Hello, hello. Welcome back to RamGoatAstrology. This is the May transits part 2. I'm Laura Lee.
And I am Helena. Hi, and welcome back to the second part of May.
Yeah.
Let's dive right in. And if you haven't listened to the first part yet, go ahead and do that. Maybe now, before.
Yeah. But we came off of May 17th, where the sun was in Taurus, of course, but conjunct Uranus. So that energy of change and intense catastrophic transformation for some people who aren't ready for it, right? Who are fighting it or resisting it. So something's going to be shaken up. I always picture a little kid grabbing a snow globe and shaking it as like Uranus energy, right?
With Uranus energy, yeah. Just Uranus is just you never know what to expect. Yeah, it's definitely that like shaking. I see something similar with that, like for a visual. Yes,
it feels snow globe vibey to me, where like the energy shifts, but the environment doesn't really. But yes, it does. But yeah, so that's where the sun's going to be coming off of, and then May 17th, and then moving into May 20th when the sun enters Gemini. So we have a shift in the area of life we shine our light in. So now we're moving from that earthy Taurus, grounded, stable, practical, and the way of not really liking change so much, but having that conjunction with Uranus, and then boom,
change
right into Gemini. I like that transition.
Yeah. That feels like a lot of energy rolling off of that sun conjunct Uranus, and at the same day on the 17th we also had Mercury square to Mars. And like rolling into like the sun rolling into Gemini then to be like, and let's talk all about it.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
Gemini is it's an air element sign. So it's a very light, fluid one. It just, if you think about air, like if you blow something into the air, it just spreads really quickly and very easily, floating around. Not very tethered to the ground like Taurus, just like
yeah, it's like Taurus is the anchor in which the Gemini hot air balloon tethers itself to, right? Like Taurus is that grounded force, and then Gemini is like, all right, see, I'm going to float up in the sky now. Hold on to me. Stay there. I'm going to go check some shit out up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gemini is very intellectual.
Very intellectual, very much wanting to like mingle around, talk to people, community vibes. Like you get outside, you start just chatting to people, seeing what's up. Like, oh, what's going on over there? What's going on over here? Super curious. That's very Gemini. That's why it wants to talk to people, because it wants to know what is going on everywhere. And this is great because we need this for our communities. We need to talk and chat and see, like gossip is a word that has like maybe like a bad vibe to it, but some gossip is sort of necessary, I think, like because you need to know for your own safety.
Well,
like,
through the
what
gossip,
did you hear?
Right. Through the gossip is where the information is spread. Honestly, I mean,
that's true.
Women's gossip circles is what have taken down many powerful men, really, honestly, throughout history, throughout all of history, right? Like it's that gossipy, like spreading of information rapidly, just like the wind. It goes from the right to the left, to the right to the left, and is all over. And suddenly that information is out there. So the fact that the sun is conjunct Uranus May 17th, and then that same day Mercury is in Taurus, square to Mars in Leo, the sign of fight in this prideful, kind of boastful Leo, I feel like, and just knowing what's going on in the Americas here, right? I feel like I just heard shit's gonna hit the fan.
Well, people are gonna be ready to talk. That's for sure. Like it feels like there's gonna be a lot to talk about.
Stuff coming out, right? Like information just coming out left and right. Very like transformative. And I think just today there was I saw an international case brought against Trump and a couple other people for crimes against humanity. It was filed yesterday, May 5th. So some big deals, big things are happening with the legislative system, and Saturn is moving squarely through the late degrees of Pisces. So that mature energy of Pisces is starting to really come through, where at the early end of Pisces, the immature energy, Saturn was just like lost in the fog. But now society has learned how to deal with this Piscean energy, and we learn how to say, that's AI, that's bullshit, that's not, look, what kind of fake crap. We're able to call out the illusions and the delusions that we've been fed, and it's starting to come up, right? That maturity as we move through Pisces. So I feel like that's interestingly placed with now this Taurus energy conjunction with Uranus, and then Sun, boom, blasting into Gemini with like information highlighted by the Sun's energy. Wow. I'm so excited for shit in our country to just do something.
It's these, like, I feel like everything is just like the energy is sort of ramping up. And it has been for a while, and there's just like, I hear people talk, and people often ask me like, what's going on, because there's so, like, everyone personally feels, okay, not everyone, but a lot of people feel personally like there is so much going on in their lives, like they are processing a lot, like going through like things come up to the surface, and they are like going through this process. It's a lot of activity right now. People are really being faced with a lot of like questioning themselves and questioning the
authenticity.
world.
Yes, authenticity of themselves and who their leaders are. That's Pluto and Aquarius. I really feel like that's a collective understanding and waking up of like, wow, we've really been lied to. And like we kind of knew we were like, but like, wow, it's really coming out, and it's even more like, holy shit, than we thought it was going to be. And it's not just our country, it's many countries. It's all over, right? Like, it is all over. I mean, I can't even get started with Gaza.
No, it's just
sending love.
Immense heartbreak and
horrific.
And I feel
they're bombing aid ships to get food there. Like, what?
It's
what is happening?
Completely heartbreaking to also feel so helpless and also in all of that, you feel, or at least speaking for myself, I feel helpless, and then I feel bad for feeling bad, because I'm like, who am I to feel bad? They're going through the worst, you know?
And then I have to remind myself that their soul incarnated in this position, in this time, in this country for a reason of something they're needed to learn, right? Right? Like, I can't condone genocide by any means, but in order for my heart to understand it, I have to understand that like humans have been doing this for as long as we've been humans, as long as we know anyway. We don't know a human society where some humans haven't been oppressing and suppressing other humans. Like, do we know of a documented time in history where that hasn't been the case? So
unfortunately, this is what we do.
Right? So I have to remind myself that the people who come here as the oppressed, in whatever way that looks, that's their soul's journey. That's their incarnation's journey. And they needed to learn that. They needed to incarnate in Syria to be displaced, to learn what it means to be this and that. Right? Like, I'm not in their karmic show. I don't know what they have to learn, but it's how my heart understands it and doesn't hurt so much. It hurts, right? But
yeah, and it can be like super triggering also, so, of course, to think about that, or like to listen to that. Like, but I totally understand what you mean.
And I'm not trying to trigger anybody.
Lives.
This is just my my beliefs and how I have to process this.
For sure, for sure. And also, like, not saying that it is totally, and that's also what I guess what we're having to go through, like this heartbreak globally.
Right.
This global energy of heartbreak is obviously, I guess, what we are having to go through at this moment in time to move further. And by saying that, we don't mean that you shouldn't fight the hardest you can. That's also what we need to do that now with Pluto and Aquarius. This is like a humanitarian and rebellious placement, and like people standing up for their authenticity, like you said. And this is just so much so many big shifts, and these huge shifts, they are really causing a lot of growth pains
Yes.
for our whole world.
And
So when people ask me,
that's what we have to learn. Like,
yeah,
because in another life, I wouldn't have known about the tragedies in Ukraine. In
yeah,
another life, even just a couple generations back, I would not have ever known about the Syrian disaster or what's going on in Gaza. But I chose this life, the life of connectedness with everybody. I chose to do a podcast with a partner in Sweden.
yeah.
Right? Like, clearly I'm globally connected. My business coach lives in freaking Serbia. Like, what? What? This is crazy. I chose a life of
Yeah.
connectedness, so I have to also feel the collective pain.
Mm.
And then I have to learn how to understand that and transmute that and love that somehow, right? Love every
Yeah. No, it's a lot right now. And what I usually answer to when people are saying like, what's going on right now? I don't usually talk about like, oh, there was a full moon, there was a new moon. No, right now there's just like all of these huge, massive shifts. Like all of our slow-moving planets are moving signs, and they're all doing it like at the
pretty
same time. This
pretty
is not common.
simultaneously.
Yeah,
As far
it's
as
not.
big
It's
planets moving signs, they're doing it pretty simultaneously, which is not
yes.
common
It's
at
it's
all.
not common. No, and like this, I think a big shift with one planet would happen, and then maybe another one after a couple of years, something like
Yeah,
that. But
no, we're
now
getting a few months, maybe.
a
Maybe.
couple of months in between. And imagine like it's just hard to even try and explain
Right. Right.
the
The
like the
cosmic
oh, it's just an
connectedness.
immense change in energy because we're going from this earthy
Earth and water. Yeah.
from earth and water to fire and air. Just
Yep.
thinking about the change of those elements is just a massive difference. Like things are moving fast. Yes, things are very fiery. Yes. And we do not know
And that's
what
going
the
to
next step will
continue.
be.
That's going to continue. We're only at
Yes.
the beginning. And that doesn't mean it's bad. Everyone's like, oh, no, it just means it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's
And
a lot.
it's
And I think it could be like I feel at least a little bit like, oh, because we don't know what to. Before it was like, oh, this is what society is like. Okay, like we can sort of
right.
trust. So this is how it functions.
Right.
Now all of those rules are like out the window.
Gone.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
And now not knowing what the next step will be also is asking from me and from everyone to be more self-reliant, and that is a little bit scary.
Well, isn't that
Like,
interesting to
oh,
think about though? A weird statistic that I know is when America was founded, there was about 90% entrepreneurism in the early parts of the country.
yeah,
And now it's reversed. It's about 10%
yeah,
entrepreneurism.
yeah,
It's growing a little bit since Rona and all that fun stuff. But still, it's a long way to go to 90%. So, like it's a very, when it's an employee kind of society and it's a renter society, there's a lot of control. And right now that's where we're at. And we've got to shift.
yeah,
That's why Philip and I are entrepreneurs. Because we have to be.
yeah.
And that's that Pluto and Aquarius energy that's shaking all of us up at our core, asking us to be more authentic, shift if it's not working. If this energy doesn't resonate, you will get so uncomfortable.
Mm.
If you're in a work environment that is just not vibing with you anymore, I've known so many clients to shift careers in the last 6 to 8 months since Pluto moved into Aquarius. It's been
Yeah.
unbelievable. In fact, that's what most of my readings are now.
Yeah.
What's going on with my career? What's happening?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So,
It's like it's also really interesting times. Like if you just put on those glasses, like the curious glasses instead of like the scared glasses,
yeah.
it's very interesting times. But for example, just like the country I'm living in, Sweden, this has been a country that has had a lot of like security, like social security.
Okay.
Um, and like super trusting in the government, like they're making sure everything's
They have your
good.
best interest at heart.
Yeah, we can go to school for free. We can go
Okay.
to the hospital for not so much money at all, but we pay a lot of taxes though.
Yeah.
But it has been working great that way. But now for us, yeah, now we're seeing that the government is has been making a lot of really bad decisions lately.
Unethical choices?
Yes. Surprise, surprise.
Really? That's weird.
Yeah, and it's
Your
all
country
coming.
too?
Yes, everyone. So now I feel like for us, it's like the rug is being like
Pulled out.
yeah, pulled out from under our feet, and we're like, you thought that for generations we've been taught to just fully trust in this way of living, but now you can't really anymore, and that is like you're stumbling around in the dark, and you're like a little bit frightened and a little bit like a little worried and not really sure how to react, how to like, because for generations we haven't been like entrepreneurial. We have been just relying on the state in a way.
And the state and corporations that are in bed with the state and Yep. So if you think about this sun, so Pluto is retrograde, you guys. May 4th, Pluto went retrograde in Aquarius, and he's going to go all the way back to 0, 1 ish, somewhere in there, 1 degree. So if you have anything 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 Aquarius, you're going to get hit again by Pluto. So what you didn't learn last time, pay attention to this time. There you go. But this retrograde is almost like pull us back and really let us propel forward again, right? Like here's the flavor. Here's what you're going to be expected to step into. All right, let's back it up. All right, let's take this for real now. Here we go. Right. And then we get to move forward again. I feel like so many people were so surprised with this like fascism that came about. And I feel like every astrologer was like, we saw that coming.
Yeah.
I don't know. We all knew something was going to crash and burn. We didn't quite know how, but like, why are you all surprised? Like, where is your astrologer? Don't you follow somebody on TikTok?
Don't you have an astrologer? What? Yeah.
Don't you have one? You don't have an essential oil person and an astrologer? Like, where's your Reiki lady? What the hell? How do you heal yourself?
Right? And also by Pluto going backwards now, back to 0 degrees, it also means that not just if you have a planet in Aquarius on those first degrees, also if you have something first degrees of Leo, Taurus, or Scorpio, you're going to get hit by this again. You have already been hit by this, but now Pluto is revisiting that.
Yep, those squares and oppositions for sure.
Yeah.
So everybody in those stubborn energies, those fixed energies, they are being asked to transform. So if you were reluctant last time, you get another opportunity. So it's about 6 months from now. Pluto's going to retrograde backwards for about 6 months. And in October, he'll go forward again. So get used to this.
And this is the last time in your life. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So
if you were reluctant to do the transformation work, you have to do it this time, or you're going to get forced to do it. And it's not going to be as pretty, and the transformation may feel a lot uglier. So whenever I have Pluto energy, I just feel like it's just a surrender and okay, that's how life is now. All right, I'll go journal and cry, and then I'll move forward. Right.
I'm still like going back to some Pluto transits I had, like now going back and thinking about them. Having realizations, and this was like these things happened 7, 8 years ago. And I'm like, oh my God, that was Pluto. Right,
for real. Right. I can tell you exactly the day and week that Pluto went on top of my husband's Venus in the 8th house. It was really fun. Nope. Not so much fun, but that energy is powerful. So when the sun enters Gemini, that Pluto energy in Aquarius and that sun entering Gemini, it's a lot of air lit up. This is a lot of energy in the air department. So get ready, because you're going to have to be chatty and networking and communicative and learn something. For the love of Pete, learn something. If you are not listening to an audiobook or a podcast, well, you're listening to ours, so that's cool. But like, keep learning, keep growing your brain. That's so important to continue to learn. Read a book. Pick up a book. If you haven't picked up a book, take Gemini Sun energy and pick up a book, because it's amazing what you can learn by taking a class or reading a book or listening to a podcast or something, right? It's so phenomenal. All right. So when we have our Sun in Gemini, then May 20th, there's also a quick little transit with the Sun also having a sextile to Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, but it's just at the tail end before he goes into Gemini. So there's going to be a little conversation with Saturn about some maturity and growing up and being responsible before we take a break or a step into Gemini. It's almost like the parent looking at the kid going, okay, we're going into church now. Be quiet, behave. Don't pick your nose. All right.
Yeah.
And then the Sun enters Gemini. So that little conversation happens the same day as the 20th. So the 22nd, Venus, she's in Aries now, and she is trying to Mars in Leo. Oh, I like
fire,
this.
fire.
I like this.
Yeah. So we have Venus being, Venus is about values, and Venus in Aries is, to me, the first thing I think about is sort of valuing your path, like, because I see Aries as
me, I.
Yeah, it's and it's I am going forward with this. So it's like, what do you value that maybe you have to take a lead on?
Yeah,
you have to take a lead on this. And then Mars in Leo, like a trine between Venus and Aries to Mars, that brings a lot of fire. And because Mars's home is in Aries, right? And now there's a trine between Venus being in Aries and Mars. So that's going to give extra energy to move forward with that. Yeah.
Feed on that. Yeah. It feels really lovely for any kind of action taking that aligns with your values, that gets you back on your path of getting to your highest vibration, your highest self, right? Mars and Leo is boldness and bravery and courage and heart-centered energy, right? And like, let's go, because our heart says yes. And Venus is the co-pilot. She's the navigator. And of course, she brings the snacks and the drinks and has good music and, all the good shit. But she's going to be in the co-pilot seat going, all right. And she's in Aries. So this is fun. This is a joy. So this is a day of follow your joy. Follow your passion. Follow what lights you up in a positive way. Obviously, don't be taking advantage of people and all that low vibe and crap. But like, really, what can you do to improve somebody's day, right? Can you buy a plant of rose for somebody, right? Or some flowers for somebody, or pay it forward and gets $5 of groceries for someone. I don't know. What can you do to just make someone smile or be bold and brave? And I think Venus in Aries also likes to be giving with money, right? Like, just very like, hey, you want some? I got some. Here you go. Like, this is a great day to give of your energy and your money. And Venus, of course, being the planet that we look to for money. And then with Mars and Leo, we've got some audacity. So maybe go big. Maybe buy that single mom whose kid is crying in the grocery cart and she looks like she's going to have a nervous breakdown. Maybe buy your damn groceries if you can, right? If that's a thing, go bold and do it. That's the kind of day I like to have. So May 22nd. I love that. What else is going on that day?
So also there's the Sun, who's now in Gemini, is having a sextile to Neptune in Aries. Oh, it's so crazy that Neptune is in Aries now.
I know. I haven't quite adjusted yet.
No. Same. This looks strange, Neptune Aries. But okay, cool. So Sun now being in Gemini, having us being all curious and flexible and airy and wanting to chit chat and learn about everything. Is having this super easy, breezy, like not even we don't even realize maybe this sextile to Neptune. Neptune is this planet that helps us to tap into to the worlds that we cannot see, like the dreams, our intuition.
Where art comes from. The ethers, where music and art and all of the creative vibes come from. Where does the creative vibe realm, that realm, that's Neptune.
Exactly. So like always what we say with sextiles is, you don't notice, you might not notice, this might just go by and you won't even notice it, but knowing about it will give you the opportunity to do something with energy, because you can really like if you know this energy,
Yeah.
like if you know more how to tweak what to do with this energy, it's gonna propel you for like a lot further ahead with wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, sun being your like vitality, being your core, having the sextile to Neptune. Well, a great day to sort of try and sit with your intuition. Just
Yeah.
like see where it takes you because you're gonna have that clear path.
Yeah, I keep seeing a spotlight in my head. So
Mm.
this is something we do in Wisconsin. I don't know if it's done anywhere else, but it's called deer shining. So you go out
Mm.
and you have a giant like spotlight that you have in your car, and you just like drive slowly along the farm fields and you shine in the fields and you can see deer. I don't know. It's something we did as teenagers. I guess we were bored, but this this
Deer
is
shining.
right.
Before smartphones.
This was before smartphones and social media. We would go deer shining. Okay, so I'm getting this image in my head of like the sun being that big spotlight, and then the deer kind of being off in the ethers. They're there, but you can't see them unless you shine that spotlight on them. So this sextile energy feels like a really great day to do like a mind map, or a just whatever they're called, brain dumps, or purge stuff out of you in a really creative way. Like if you've got a bunch, because this is Aries and this is Gemini, you guys, this is my energy. If you know me at all, there's a lot going on up in the noggin. Okay, there's a lot of energy with Aries and Gemini, and I know this energy well. So just like take it from someone who's natally programmed with this. You've got to give yourself a space to brain dump and like let all of the imagination just show up in a big way. I love to use big, huge paper. It's called tagboard paper. It's like kind of cardboardy paper, but not quite as thick. And then a bunch of Sharpie markers. And my husband and I usually do this like once a year. And we sit down and we'll just do like this really artistic mind map. And I say we, but that's me. He the Capricorn that fills in the information. But it's me and all my people in my head do all the thing. But that's the kind of thing that this day would be phenomenal for. Phenomenal. Just let it like puke out of you almost, because that sun in Gemini, so many energies already lit up. And then Neptune in Aries is action with your creative pursuits and your creative vibes. So this would be a really big day for artists. Shout out to all the artists out there. Get your ideas out. So that's a big day, the 22nd. It seems like lovely energy though, with the Venus trine Mars and then Sun sextile Neptune. I
like it.
I really enjoy that. It feels very dreamy and creative, and take action on creativity and whatever that looks like for you, whether that's building a house or whatever. All right. So then we have a couple days. I don't know what's with this month, but it's transit, double or triple transits, like each day.
Yep.
So now the 24th, we got another double transit here.
We have 3. We have 2 transits and then 1 major ingress because Saturn is moving into Aries on May 24th.
That's a big one. A lot of people.
Along with 2 transits happening.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Saturn and Aries first, because I think that's the big one that we should pay attention to. So it has been around 29-ish years since Saturn's left Aries. And so what were you doing about 30 years ago?
Goodness me. I don't know. I was like 6. I was 6. I don't know. Hanging around.
That's fun.
What were you doing? I'm gonna check out the exact year.
Yeah, what years were this? So I was I'm 43, so that'd be 30 years. I can do 13. So I was entering.
You were 13.
I was entering my work life. I was starting to work and get a job, and that's when I started working.
Saturday. So the last time Saturn was in Aries was 1998 to 99.
Okay, high school.
Oh
no, it'd be more.
Actually, it started in 96.
96 to 90.
Yeah, and then it retrograded back into Pisces again, and then
my whole high school
so,
career, basically. Okay, because I was in high school 96 to 2000. So.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because this was
sense.
from 96 to 99.
Yeah, there you go. I was in high school. Interesting. Man, I worked
Yeah.
hard in high school. Oh, that makes so much sense. I had so much going on. I was on the dance team. I was in musicals. I was in show choir. I was in band. I was in jazz band. I worked outside of the house at a place like 25 minutes away, one way. I had a boyfriend. I was doing driver's lessons. I was in softball. Oh my God. I was so busy, and I'm so busy right now.
Yeah, because you are a lot of Aries, and now Saturn is coming into your sign.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So worked hard.
Okay. Yeah,
And it's at the top
realizations.
of my chart in the 11th, 10th, and 11th house. So, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's a big deal too, because that's where my community is. I was in school at that time, and now I'm focusing on growing the Aquarian Acres and my community there, and my online Cosmic Mama Collective community, and my alternative wellness services community, and Ram and Goat community.
Yeah.
Look at all my freaking
Working so hard. Yeah, and Aries is going to be here until 2028. So for a bit.
Okay, so initially that seemed really far away, and then I realized we were in 2025 and almost halfway
Yes,
through.
it's not that far away. It's not it's not that far away. But it was a long time ago that Saturn was here last.
Yes.
So we could definitely learn from the past. I think we should do probably an episode on all of these huge
This one for
big
sure.
planets moving signs, like all together, talking about what happened last time Saturn was in Aries.
I love
But
that.
to remind you guys what Saturn energy is, Saturn is sort of Saturn is wanting us to grow the fuck up.
Grow up.
Wants us to grow up,
Pay
do
your
the work.
taxes, follow your rules.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it wants us to work hard on becoming ourselves pretty much for doing the work we need to do in this life, and that might be paying taxes or not paying taxes.
Right. But I would say it's follow your rules.
Yes,
that's what he's the rule master, the task master, but not necessarily your mom's rules or your grandpa's rules or your school's rules. Follow your rules, and your rules are in your chart. Like he's like, just look, it's right there. So.
It is, and this energy can feel a bit restrictive because that is the energy of that's how Saturn directs you in a way. It's like, okay, we're gonna cross off all of these other roads because you're going that road ahead, and you have to do the work to go there. And so I'm crossing all of these others off. So you might feel, yeah, it's when you have your Saturn return, this is the 30-year crisis that we all have when we're between 28 and 30 years old, when we do these massive life changes, like we move house, we have a partner, we have a baby, we get depressed, we do something big, we grow, and we have growing pains.
Yes.
But these big growing pains that might make some of us depressed and sad for a bit, they shape us into who we are and shape us along our journey. And this is what we needed to grow up, because growing up hurts, honestly.
Heck yeah, it does. I got kids who got shin splints right now from growing pains, literally physically growing up. Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't sleep right now. Extra magnesium. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saturn hurts. Growing up hurts. So I think that's what's happening for all of us right now is Saturn is entering Aries, which is the sign of movement and taking action. It's time to stop sitting at the shadows and in the mist and like pretending like you can check out. No, grow the fuck up and now to take action. So I'm excited because obviously many countries need us as a collective to take action. And that's what Saturn's asking us to be disciplined about. So that happens the 24th. We'll do a whole podcast on that. That same day, Mercury is in Taurus, and this guy is going to conjunct or come like in alignment with Uranus in Taurus. And now we're getting late degrees Taurus here. So the energy is getting more mature. hopefully growing up a little bit in the way it shows up, and we are all understanding of it a little bit. But this is a shakeup of our mind and the way we communicate and the way we think. This is a change, lightning strike kind of energy with our mind and nervous system connecting. So there might be something coming out in the media, or there might be something coming out of you, and like it's sudden communication shifting, or just a lot of big change. Because I always think Taurus, whenever Taurus changes, it's big. It's not like the freight train just comes to a quick stop like a motorcycle. It's a train. It takes a lot to change that trajectory and stop that energy. So I think there's going to be some interesting things coming out in the media this day, with Mercury being the messenger.
Yeah, I think so. And for people, personally, this can have you feeling very, very busy in your head, maybe confused, because Mercury is your mind and how it works, what we pay attention to. Yeah. And Uranus, like you said, it shakes things up. It also shakes up our nervous system. It can give us brilliant ideas with this conjunction, but it can also have our brains very overstimulated and maybe like veering off into anxiety land. So just be mindful of that our minds are going to be super, super activated
for around real. This day. I mean, and not only that, but that same day we have another transit of the sun in Gemini. So again, the sun is activating the intellectual sign of Gemini. And now this is a trine, which is a nice smooth energy, easy conversation to our lovely retrograding Pluto in Aquarius. So lots and lots and lots of intellectual air element activity going on here, and Mercury, and then of course Saturn moving into Aries. So I'm going to go ahead and wish everybody the best on May 24th for how that energy shows up for you. I would really recommend getting out into nature and doing your best to ground that day, whether that's gardening or going for walks or taking the dog to the dog park or whatever. This feels like a day everybody should do their very best to ground themselves in Mother Earth.
I hope that with the sun being in Gemini, I mean, I also think about the news a lot when I think about Gemini.
Me too.
And then having this trine to Pluto in Aquarius, I'm hoping to see a radical change made by
in the storyline, right? The story's people. Been this, and now we're like, okay, someone gonna do something. Where's the others? Where is it here yet? What's happened? What's going on? Why is this continuing?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping on this day, because it's that trine. It could be. It's a great day to gather those energies.
Yeah.
And there could actually be a change, and we will hear a lot about it, or it will really be talked about. Like maybe
especially with the Saturn and Aries, like it just fires that up even more, right? And Saturn, in my mind, always I get this governmental energy with Saturn, right? And of course, Aries.
Saturn is structures,
yeah, and Aries is my favorite sign, of course, as you all know, because we're really good at just like burning shit.
Yeah, Saturn entering Aries is very much like let's build a new empire kind of energy. Like
this one's not working. This is not working.
No, yeah.
So it's very, very interesting. We have to do a show where we combine Saturn and Aries energy with the Pluto and Aquarius energy, and of course Neptune in Aries. And then later this summer, Uranus moves into Gemini. So this is a this is a big year, you guys. We're not joking. This is
no
really big year, and this is the start of it. Like we're in, not even the start. Like we're in the middle transition of it. So like everyone just hang on.
I feel like we're in that part. Well, I guess always when you're inside of something, it's hard to see because we are just so inside of it right now.
We're in the bubble,
and there's so many changes. But when we will look back on this time a couple of years ahead, we're gonna be seeing clearly, like, whoa, that was
that's
very
when that happened years. And then that's when this big thing shifted after, and that's when all the governments decided to say, fuck this system, this isn't working. And that's when like we're gonna see this global massive global shift, and really that's what the Saturn in Aries, Neptune in Aries, and then Uranus and moving into Gemini. And of course, you guys don't forget our good friend Jupiter is hanging out in Gemini right now too, and has been for a while as he retrograded back and now is going forward. So he's in the 20 degrees now of Gemini. So he's expanding all Gemini stuff too, which is expanding the AI and all of the interconnectedness of us, of the people on the globe. So very interesting times we live in. So the 24th, everybody just kind of be aware of the information flooding your way. There's going to be a lot of it. It'll be a very information filled day and some energetic shifting. We have actually tree cutting planned for that day. We're going to be outside most of the day working out in the land. And that feels like a great energy for this.
Yes.
Go cut some trees. I like that. What's going on next then? So we have 2 transits and the next day, the 25th.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's this? 5 transits in 2 days?
That's a lot, Helena. And then 2 more on the 26th.
And then, oh yeah. So 7 transits in 3 days.
Okay, everybody, and everybody take a deep breath. Ready?
Oh, so am I 8 transits in 4 days? Okay, I suck at math.
Maybe another deep breath.
Yeah. and like, you know, never be scared of the transits that are happening. It's just great to see it and sort of validate the energies that you're already feeling anyways.
Validate the weather for the day, right? If your kids are spicy
and it is raining, that's why you're wet.
Exactly. If everyone's spicy and fighting with each other and you're like, oh yeah, Mars and Pluto are opposite each other today. Oh yeah. Okay. How about you guys? Let's watch a movie. You guys want a movie? Right? Like that's like you gotta work with it. You like, I understand it, what's happening, and I still have to deal with these fighting kids, right? So it's not like the transit necessarily makes it better. It just helps my brain to go, exactly. Nothing's wrong here. I don't have to try to fix anybody. It's what's supposed to be happening. It's okay. Let's shift the energy and the focus.
Exactly. Like maybe you won't be able to go through with your plans, which was maybe to be outside and play. Or either you can go outside still, dress accordingly, or shift your plans.
Exactly. Yeah.
A little weather analogy.
Well, and learning to live it in the flow, right? Knowing that the 24th, 25th, 26th, and 27th are really, really astrologically active with big players. Not just like, oh, Mercury is doing this, Mercury's doing that. Mercury does a lot of things, but like it's a lot of shifting energies, a lot of big players having some intense conversations, right? Conjunctions are like, hey, we're chatting right now. So whether you want
it's going to be a busy second half of May.
For real.
It's going to be fast.
So if that's scary to you, and analyze that. But just I'm saying it's for me, it's nice to know that the river is picking up speed and I have some whitewater rapids ahead. So be prepared and get myself centered. Right. That's how it's helpful for me to deal with this stuff.
Yeah. And I was listening to Jessica Lanyadoo, another astrologer who has a podcast that I love, Ghost of a Podcast.
Yep.
And she said something that really is very easy and simple, but you don't really think about it. She said that she was talking about the astrology weather for this week of May. We're in May 6th right now. And talking about having emotions and feelings that are not pleasant. And just saying that it's a very important time right now as in this week, but also right now as in this year, for us to learn to sit with our emotions.
For real.
And because it's such a busy month, we're going to be so activated. We're going to be feeling some anxiety, perhaps, more than on a regular day. And just to sit with that emotion a little bit longer than what is comfortable for you. Like a little bit longer than what you usually do. Instead of starting to doom scroll, instead of checking out into something else or distracting yourself, instead of I don't know, picking up the phone and calling someone, instead of eating that thing, just sit with that really, really uncomfortable emotion. Just be in it for like another minute. And that's how we build resilience, and that's how we build ourselves up. And yeah, she said that and it just really stuck with me because I was having a lot of emotions that day when I was listening, and I was like, you know what? I can do this. I'm just gonna sit
I can
with
do
this for a
60
while.
seconds. I can do 60
Yeah.
seconds. I can do
Yeah.
60 seconds of anything. I know when stuff gets really hard, I go, Laura, you have pushed 5 heads out of your body. You can do this. This is easy. You can manage this. It's a screaming kid. Let them let it out. I know it's loud. Breathe. Like this is like what happens in my head while they're like having the whatever meltdown, right? And I'm just trying not to get sucked into the psychoticness, right? But yeah, 60 seconds of anything. And these transits, 24, 25, 26, 27, they are a lot of activity, and it may make you feel off balance. And if you're off balance, then dance. That's what dancing is. It's just it's graceful falling, right? So just move, dance, catch yourself, and move to the new rhythm, right? So the 25th, we have 2 of them. Mercury's moving into Gemini that day. So Mercury loves to be in Gemini. This is a home sign for this planet, and it will be there for the next few weeks. This is excellent time for intellectual stimulation, conversation, writing a book, writing journals, writing, speaking, all of the words, and then communicating with people, starting a podcast, joining a podcast, whatever. But getting into an area of life of communication. If you've been a hermit for a while, use this energy to get a little less hermity. Talk to somebody. Go say hi to somebody. The barista at the coffee shop. I don't care who, right?
Oh, just write. If you really don't want to talk to someone, write.
If you don't really want
to. So the hermit.
Scorpio rising for the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that same day, what else is going on? Mercury, another transit.
Yeah, Mercury and Gemini having a sextile to Saturn in Aries. Okay, great. Like usually I would say with Mercury and Saturn making some kind of a formation to each other, I would be like, ooh, maybe foot and mouth syndrome. But with a sextile, what's the opposite of foot and mouth syndrome? Like
easy
you're
flow.
gonna be yeah, like you're gonna have, instead of saying really just inappropriate things, I think this is gonna be a time when you can have a conversation with someone and really come forward with your plans and like with structure, like sit down if you have a business with someone, or maybe just you need to make sure that the puzzle of a family life needs to come together, sit with your partner and like, okay, discuss how do we move forward? How do we make this puzzle fit together? Because Mercury is your intellect, and Saturn is that that stability that can and growth that can actually, like, here Mercury and Saturn works amazingly together.
It does. It almost feels like the opposite. You said, what's the opposite of foot and mouth? And I was thinking on that, and I
hand and mouth.
Actually, like mic drop actually would be the opposite of like you say it so eloquently, so well, it comes out so seamlessly, and then you just like say it and like boom, mic drop.
Yes.
Doesn't that feel like that?
For sure, because there's not going to be any like, oh, I don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah, this is not like hesitation energy.
No hesitation. It's like, this is what it's like, and I realize it's that, and we need to do this thing. What do you think? Oh, okay, let's move forward. Let's do.
Yes,
that's what it is. Yeah,
mic drop energy.
I like that.
That's good.
Mic drop energy.
So the 26th, our friend Mercury is coming sextile to Neptune in Aries, because Saturn and Neptune are real close together, and they're making frenzies with each other. And so this is your artistic day. This is your writing day. This is your creative flow. This is your I'm doing a book project, this Journey to the Soul book project, which is going phenomenal, by the way. And we have 7 ladies joining us, and it is just, this is so in divine timing, this program. Like, it is unbelievable, and it keeps lining up with transits. And so everything like we're working on for that week or at that time, like the transits are supportive and like helping us to uncover this or write this. It's been freaking weird. And this is another like transit. We're actually going to be getting into like starting writing and stuff a lot more and pulling out our creative story around this time. So like, what the heck?
Amazing.
So yeah, that's exactly what I see with May 26th is this sextile between Mercury and Neptune in Gemini and Aries is, wow, you have divine connection to the idea bank in the cosmos. We all do. Like, this is like a collective opening of the idea bank, and we should all jump on some type of social media and like share all of our ideas on how to like get all the idiots out of power.
Let's do that.
Can we do that? Can we all like collectively agree to jump on some type of social media and like all have like a Zoom? Can we all do a Zoom together? Like the world Zoom? Is that a thing?
Yeah, a world Zoom. Yeah,
Can
yeah.
somebody start that?
I can be. It can be.
Somebody's got to start that, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like this day we could all like share our ideas and then like actually do something about it.
Yeah. That sounds amazing to me. Like I'm just imagining like a huge Google Drive. Everyone's just going, or like a Zoom meeting with a billion little squares.
That would be so fun.
Cool.
All right, let's do it. So that's the 26th. And then the 26th, we have a new moon in Gemini, of course. So the sun and the moon are lined up. And this is following that Scorpio full moon on the 12th. So now we have this new moon in Gemini. So this feels fresh to me. And man, that Scorpio full moon the 12th is going to be a doozy. I just feel it. I can tell. I can tell.
Yeah, 6 days to go.
I can feel it. I know it's coming. I need a good cry, and I know it's coming, and I don't want to. And I know I need to, but this new moon in Gemini feels light and possibility filled.
Oh, very. Like, yeah, new moons are about beginnings, about planting seeds, about that fresh start. And Gemini, like so super curious, is so like it feels like a perfect lineup for very so fresh and so clean energy.
Yes. And there'll be a lot of kids and students graduating around this time. So this is a very like hopeful energy of like getting your diploma and starting something fresh. And this feels really nice for graduates and all of the people finishing up schooling and classes and stuff. So I love this Gemini new moon. Great time to harness that big mental energy that shows up, right? And what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with these emotional ideas that are pulling you? And I was listening to a book the other day. Cannot remember the name of it right now, but basically the premise was humans don't do anything unless we feel emotionally pulled to do that, whether that's emotionally fear-based or emotionally excited or whatever. It's an emotion attached to the reason for doing it. So if there's not an emotion, we will not do it. So this is a great time to align your emotions, because it's moon, with the intellect, with the Gemini. So I feel like this is a time to really, really feel what you want to then, do and take action on.
It could be several things because it's Gemini too.
Right. It's probably more than one thing. Everybody's more than one thing. It's probably two.
Yeah, at least. So the day after that, we have our second last transit for the month. And we have Mercury now in Gemini, now trine to Pluto in Aquarius. So Mercury's been getting busy lately.
Really? Lots and lots and lots of Mercury energy, lots and lots of air element energy in general this month.
Yeah. So we had, what was it? It was Mercury conjunct to Uranus just a couple of days before this, when I said that you could be feeling very mentally overstimulated because you could be getting lots of amazing ideas, but also not really knowing what to do with all of the energy.
Yeah.
This is a little bit different because it's Pluto. Pluto is very super focused, like a laser, and can be very investigative.
Yeah. Go deep.
This day, you'll be able to go really deep and just be mindful not to like like because this energy could end up being like starting to
manipulative.
Manipulative. And because Mercury is also in Gemini, Gemini is really good at also at seeing all the different sides.
Right.
And Pluto is great at also using that power to manipulate.
Yeah.
But also like stalking, cyber stalking. Like,
oh, okay.
You don't need to stalk anyone. Like you can use this energy for way better things than that. you can
I can see
use
where
this
that'd be
energy
a low vibe of this energy.
Yeah. Like use this to do research. This is a research day because you're going to be able to go deep with that Pluto, with the trine to Pluto in Aquarius.
I love, and Aquarius is the sign of the genius, and the genius wants to obtain the knowledge of the why. Why is this light bulb lighting up? Why is it not lighting up? Why? And taking things apart and tinkering, and like Aquarius wants to find out, and so does Pluto. Like they really do. They want to find out. And so this could definitely be a great day for research. I love that. Contracts, right? Reading over contracts, negotiating things, getting people to see things your way. If you're an influencer and you're trying to make change or get people to join a petition or sign up for supporting the national parks or public broadcasting system or whatever your call is that you feel supported to do, this is a great day, the 27th, to take that new moon energy from the 26th and then like do something with it on the 27th.
Yeah.
Put it somewhere. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
And our last transit for the month is another Mercury transit.
This planet is going.
It's a very busy planet. So now Mercury is at the same point in Gemini as the Sun. So the Sun and Mercury is now conjunct.
Yes.
In Gemini.
This can lead to, if you are not doing well mentally, this can lead to some angst. This is some anxiety energy. This could be definitely an anxiety signature. So make sure you're really focusing on your breath. Like I can't emphasize it enough. Take a deep breath. Ready? It takes like 4 seconds, maybe 5. If you extend it out, you can maybe make it 6 or 8 seconds. Right. And then when you do that, you can do it again too. They're free. Right. I have a lot of Gemini. I have a lot of Aquarius. I have a lot of Libra, and I have a lot of fire and not a lot of grounding. I know a lot of these energies well. And this conjunction, this kind of energy, it can really get angsty if you're not handling things well, if you're not managing all of the activity and all of the everything. You gotta breathe. You gotta breathe. You gotta ground yourself. You gotta find an outlet, a focus, something to do with all the mental energies, whether that's learning piano or reading books or whatever it is. You got to do something with it, or you'll get on the hamster wheel of stories. And Gemini is two people or two different sides, so you can almost have like this angsty conversation with yourself and talk yourself out of something or into something, or make up shit. You can. It's a thing. So I just feel like after everything we've gone through for these transits in the second half of May and just what the world is going through, I just want everyone to take May 29th and make sure you do not let that jittery kind of Gemini overwhelming energy of Mercury Sun conjunction overwhelm you, right? Do something productive with it. Take action in a yoga class or go for a bike ride, anything to kind of get the mental energy so it doesn't take you out.
Yeah, and Mercury is really busy from May 12th and along the rest of the month. On May 12th we have that Mercury square to Pluto. Then we have the Mercury square to Mars. Then we have what do we have here? Mercury conjunct Uranus, and the list goes on and on. So our minds and the mental side of our beings is going to be so super activated from May 12th and forward. So for this whole month, please, if you can do something, try and breathe, just like you said, like try and stop in a moment and just be like, okay, where am I right now? Okay, let's sort of
right there. I have to do that a lot. I have to pause and say, what do I need right now?
Yeah.
What do I need right now? Do I need to eat? That's what I need. I need to eat something right now. And so I immediately get my focus on what that task is. Or maybe it's, I need to sit down for a minute. Or this morning it was, I need to lay down for 5 minutes, right? Asking that question, what do I need? It's almost like one Gemini talking to the other Gemini, right? Hey, what do we need? Hold on. Let me analyze. Let me check everybody. We need water. We're really thirsty, right?
Yeah. So try and move the energy from your mind, and from that, like from the thought spinning and maybe being very analyzing stuff, and move the energy from that space.
Down into your body.
We're great in that space, but it's going to be a lot. Move it down to the body.
Yep, that is the best advice from a Gemini rising and a Gemini moon. That's the best advice I've got for you, is you got to drop down into your body actively. Like, you have to work on it. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. And unfortunately, Helena had some technical issues and was unable to continue to wrap this up with us. So I'm going to be wrapping it up for us. So thank you so much for listening and tuning in to the rest of May. We hope you enjoyed our little chit chat / transit talk today. And if you have any questions or are interested about how these transits specifically affect your chart, you can always head on over to our podcast. It's at lauraleelotto.com/RNG podcast. You can see it right at the top of the screen. And there you will find ways to book with Helena and I, and you can see what's going on in your chart. We can't wait to see you next time. Thank you so much for joining us. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and send this to a friend. And you can buy us a tea or coffee to support the show financially. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us this week. Be sure to like and support the show by sharing with a friend or joining us on Patreon. And you can buy us a tea or coffee and financially support us. Thank you so much. It's so appreciated.